Okay, here's another one of my screen sets then. This is one I call PRV Edit, which obviously is for editing in the PRV. This is sort of developed over the last year or so, year of using Sonar X1, and this is it. Takes a little bit of setting up. There's a couple of bugs to work around, which I'll talk about when we get there. But this is how I go about it from scratch. Anyway, first off, I'm going to bring up the CV, the console view, by pressing Alt-2. I'm actually just going to use this as a name come track reference for selection. So I'm going to hide all of the modules, and the reason for that is I just want to see, as I say, the track names down at the bottom. I'm actually going to move it in a second. I'm just going to undock it. Yeah, anyway, the reason I've hidden all the modules is I just want to see the names, and when I resize this to show just the names, I'm not sure if it's a Windows thing or not, but when you go back to the screen set, the scroll bar will have jumped to the top, and obviously every time you switch screen sets you've then got to drag it to the bottom. If you get rid of the modules, it actually stops that happening. I'm not sure as I say, that's a Windows or a X1 thing, but anyway, hiding all the modules will stop that from happening. I'm just going to grab that to full width. So that's the CV set up for now. And the next stage is drag down to expose the video window at the top, the video pane, and I'm just going to use that area to drop the CV into. So I'm not actually using the video pane at all, I'm just using it as somewhere to stuff the CV so it doesn't block the track view. And that's that. And the second bit is quite important. Obviously, because it's PRV edit, I only want to see MIDI tracks, but there is a bug where if you've got tracks missing from down in the track view here, and then you try and click on tracks in the CV, when it goes the active track here, it won't bring it up properly if there's a track missing. So the workaround for that I've discovered is in the CV, need to select the track manager and then deselect the keep track console visibility states in sync if you've got that selected at all. Then click on audio, which highlights all of the audio tracks, and then I'm going to click on them, hide them, but I'm going to click on them, bring them back. That's just in case there's any that are already hidden, and then hide them again. So now they should all be hidden. There should be no audio tracks in view at all when I press OK. And there we go. As you can see, this view has now, the CV has now jumped to show just MIDI tracks, whereas this is still showing all of them, and that's exactly what I want. And you're not going to see these in a second. I'll show you how we're going to get around that, but that sorts out that particular bug. Okay, so after that we're going to bring up the PRV, and this bit really is just a very personal thing about how much of the PRV you want to see and how much of the track at the top you want to see. I'm going to leave a gap like so, and in there I'm obviously going to see the MIDI clip, if you like. So to get that to display that properly, we're going to Control A, which will select all. Then I'm going to shift click and drag track down just wide enough to fill the clips pane here with the whole clip. Now at the moment obviously I've got a audio track in view, but you'll see as I click on the MIDI tracks, and because there's only MIDI tracks in the top here, it's only MIDI tracks coming into view. That's why it doesn't matter what's showing in the track view there. I'm just going to deselect all. And really all that leaves me to do now is just get hold of the divider here and drag that over to completely hide the header. I'm also going to bring up the inspector and then undock that and use its close window to get rid of the inspector completely. And as you can see, we now have a CV floating with the track name and number, which is what you select the tracks with. The tracks are obviously there, and to bring them into the PRV it's just a matter of double clicking. So as you can see, it's quite a quick process going from one track to the other to bring up any MIDI track you want for MIDI editing, PRV editing. So say the important thing with that is just to make sure that in the track view you've actually got all tracks showing, because if you don't, when you double click on a track here, it may or may not be, depending on what's missing, the track that comes up there. But that's that. Thanks.